Coming right up, a special edition of Straight Talk. The congressional candidates form 47th Congressional District. Our guest tonight, the Democratic candidate for Congress, Alan Lowenthal, and the Republican candidate for Congress, Gary DeLong, as we start our 21st anniversary year.
Closed captioning provided by Scan Health Plan. Straight Talk is brought to you in part by Southern California Edison. For over 100 years, life powered by Edison. The Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We're delighted you're joining us tonight for the first show of our 21st anniversary season. And we have as our guests for the entire show the two candidates running for United States Congress in the 47th Congressional District, Senator Alan Lowenthal and Councilman Gary DeLong. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Alan, why do you think you'd be the best person to represent constituents of the 47th District?
Well, thank you. First, thank you for inviting me to the show, Art, to have an opportunity to talk to Gary about what some of the key and critical issues are. I'm running because I've had a great record of success, I believe. I have really tried in my years as a public servant to bring jobs to this community, to fight for clean air, to fight for clean water, to make sure that our schools and our educational systems work, and also to make sure that government is responsive to the people and not responsive to public officials. Along the way of doing that, there's more work that needs to be done. I really want to go to Washington to really participate in this great national debate that is taking place now, and where the differences between both parties and both presidential candidates are real clear, and I'm sure we'll discuss that during the show.
Thank you, Alan. Gary, same question to you. Why do you think you'd be the best person to represent the 47th Congressional District?
Well, I'd also like to thank you for the invitation to join you today for our discussion, and also to congratulate you on your 21st year for your show. You're finally legal. But I think I bring a unique set of skills to this seat, from being 35 years in the private sector, 10 years in corporate America, the last 25 years as an owner of a local small business, but yet balanced with 6 years of being an elected official. So I understand both. I understand how government works and how it doesn't work and what we need to do to fix it, but I also understand the private sector, so I know what will it take to get our economy going again.
Okay. Gentlemen, as we know, nationally and statewide and even locally, jobs and the economy is a key issue. And Alan, what in your background and what would be your suggestions for getting this economy going and getting our employment up?
Well, the first thing is, what in my background? What have I done is what you asked, and then what do I see going forward to do it? And I've had a history of bringing jobs to this community. I've been the person that wrote the legislation that ensured that we would do a public-private partnership to build a state courthouse in Long Beach. I was the one that ensured that there would be over $500 million as the chair of Senate Transportation to build a Gerald Desmond Bridge, and which really ensures that we will still maintain our position as the world-class ports. And so I've had a record of working with the other side, working in a cooperative way. That is who I am. I think as I go to Washington, I'm going to be strongly supportive of the President's Americans Job Act. It reinvests in our country, it reinvests in education, reinvests in infrastructure, make sure that we maintain our leadership role, and I also think that I will be there to work on a fair tax policy.
Fair enough. And Gary, why do you think you'd be the best for jobs in the economy?
Well, first of all, let me say that I do look at things a little bit differently. I think those are good projects that Alan has mentioned, both the bridge and the courthouse. But again, those are public projects. What we need is the private sector to get going again. Like I say, it's a great courthouse, good bridge for the ports, good movement, but we need the private sector to go. So I think what I would do is be far more supportive. Let's get our economy going again. Let's figure out how to help those small businesses, medium business, grow, prosper, create jobs for our citizens. That's the way to get out of our economic morass. It's not just more government spending.
Alan, one of the controversial issues that you voted on was the ending of redevelopment agencies in the cities throughout California.
Yes.
there was a lot of controversy on that. Tell us why you supported the governor's proposal to end redevelopment agencies.
Well, you know, we're forced at times to make difficult choices. That's why we're elected. And at a time when there were tremendous cuts and a lack of additional resources, I was faced with this opportunity, this choice before me as we made cuts. Children, schools on one hand, on the other hand, developers and economic development. That's really what the choice was. Redevelopment takes property taxes away from schools. It gives them to communities to deal with blight. At times when we're forced, when we have limited resources, I looked at that and said, it is time to reinvest in children.
Gary, would you, if you had been sitting where Alan was, voted to end redevelopment, or do you think redevelopment was an important tool that the city should have, and that this was basically a state takeaway of local resources?
Well, I think Alan and I may agree on many things. This isn't one of them. Redevelopment was one of the largest economic tools that cities have. In fact, the courthouse that he referred to, that was because of redevelopment. If we didn't have a redevelopment agency, that project would not have occurred. We need redevelopment. In fact, I can tell you 3 Democrat mayors, I'm not registered Republican, with 3 Democrat mayors endorsed me, not just because I'm a nice guy, because Alan's a pretty good guy too, but they were very unhappy over the redevelopment agency vote. It is killing our cities. And I will tell you, it wasn't a choice, in my opinion, between redevelopment or schools. That's the wrong choice. In fact, our schools have been decimated in funding. Cal State system over 30% cuts, $1 billion the last 2 years, UC cuts, K through 12 cuts. I think what we haven't done is we haven't done at the state what Long Beach has done, which is you got to shrink your workforce. You got to decrease. You can't keep adding more public employees.
Okay. Gary, you mentioned in your campaign literature and just now that you have been helping shrink the workforce, but that means cutting cops, reducing fire engines, and that kind of thing. Is that the kind of shrinkage that we really want?
You know, what you have to do, and same thing in Washington, we need to have everything on the table. You can't have sacred cows. In order for the city of Long Beach to balance its budget, don't deficit spend, don't create debt for future generations, we need to make some very difficult decisions. When public safety is 2/3 of the budget, you can't say, I won't cut there, because if you're not willing to make any efficiencies, then you're going to not have any parks, not have any libraries. You'll be the safest city that nobody wants to live in. But you do need to do it intelligently. You need to have good department heads, good police chief, good fire chief that says, how do you provide a commensurate level of service with limited resources?
But just
That's
for the record,
challenge.
the number of police officers, sworn police officers, has gone down from over 900 to about 750 right now on the street.
Absolutely true, and last year was a 40-year crime low here in the city of Long Beach.
Well, maybe we should cut more
Well,
cops then.
I'm not going to say that, right? But I think you need to look at it. But we did have a 40-year crime low. That's significant.
But crime is now spiking up again this year.
It is. We're going to do more technology investment.
Okay, we'll be continuing this conversation, but first we have to pause for these messages.
Supported by Edison International. Californians are getting to be old hands at year-round energy conservation, part of our special awareness of the resources we all depend on. We're making the change to energy-efficient light bulbs, keeping warm weather thermostats set to a comfortable 78 degrees, and giving major appliances the afternoon off. Because when it comes to energy conservation, it all adds up. Life, powered by Edison.
In today's world, everything's connected. From the workplaces that support us, to the homes that welcome us, to the trees and wildlife habitats that remind us how important our environment is. When a bird lands on a branch, and in the midst of a busy day, we stop to watch, it makes us realize we're all in the same boat. The Port of Long Beach welcomes this world with open arms, an environmental policy that's second to none, and a commitment to shaping a vibrant community. The Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
I want to improve my career opportunities.
I want to earn a higher salary at my job.
I'd like to finish what I started.
The new Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts degree completion program at Cal State Long Beach will help you achieve your educational goals while keeping your life in balance. Contact our customer service center at 1-800-963-2250 for more information, or visit us on the web. Let CSULB help you finish what you started.
As your business searches for smart ways to save, don't forget about the one that's right in front of you. Switch to the Charter Business Bundle and you can save big without sacrificing a thing. Get reliable business telephone and high-speed internet with local support and great features. Power your business with great savings starting today. It's easy to pay less and get more. Call now and make a switch to the Charter Business Bundle.